today we're here at another edition of Ask the Expert. My name's Ben Solomon with Right at Home, and it's June, it's Pride Month, and we're happy to have Rashawn Mack. Rashawn, welcome.
Hello, thank you.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking today about, since it's Pride Month, just as a how to work and just issues that we may need to be thinking about the LGBTQ plus community.
Okay.
Yeah. So Rashawn, to start, can you share a little bit about your background and what drew you to being a client care coordinator here at Right at Home?
So I started off as a CNA back in 2013. My mom was my mom. She was going through school to be an LPN. I stepped into her class for a day just as a visitor, and they were taking a pop quiz. And I ended up doing a pop quiz and ended up having one of the highest scores in the class. So that started off my whole nursing career. I did CNA work for 13. Moved out here to Washington about 3 years ago. And then moved to Seattle from Spokane about 6 months ago. And that's what started the whole care coordinator position.
That's great. So talking to you, because as a gay man, how has your identity shaped the way you think about supporting older adults and their families?
I feel like I'm more empathetic and sympathetic with my clients and patients and their families. I feel like it gives me a extra oomph, I guess, in a way. Okay. And I feel like it just makes me more compassionate overall.
Good. So research shows that LGBTQ plus older adults are more likely to live alone, have smaller support networks, face discrimination, and sometimes feel unsafe being out in care settings, being out, quote unquote. What kind of fears or worries do you believe that LGBTQ plus elders share with you about letting caregivers into their home or moving into care services?
I feel the one thing that they worry about is not being accepted. And with that being said, not getting the right care or proper care that they're supposed to be getting, whether it's just from a caregiver or it's in a home setting, a facility. That feeling of not being accepted, even though we live in 2026, they still have in their head that it's still unacceptable to be a homosexual or be a lesbian or trans or anything within that scope.
You think people still, a lot of the elders, they don't want to display it. They're kind of
There's a lot
secretive
of people
about it.
Yeah, I've met a lot of people that are very secretive about it, or they have to get a feel of who you are first before they even allow you to know that side of them. But overall, I feel once they allow someone into that comfort zone, it helps build that relationship even better and builds that bridge.
Good. Okay. So what are some subtle ways bias or assumptions show up in home care? For example, in the questions we ask, the language we use, or how we talk about family.
So when it comes to family, a lot of LGBTQ elders, they've also went through, majority of them have been through the process of losing loved ones because of their status or who they like and their lifespan. So with that, it can be a little touchy. When it comes down to wording or language, it just, certain words are not as acceptable as they are nowadays. So, like, for example, the word girl, back in the day, even now sometimes it can come off a little offensive, but it's became overall more acceptable over the years because it's more of an endearing way or a friendly way of greeting someone versus being disrespectful.
Okay. As a care manager, when you're doing assessments or care planning, what do you pay attention to specifically for LGBTQ plus elders? Things that maybe aren't on the standard checklist.
Once I realized that the client is an LGBTQ member, I try to find people that are going to be more open-minded and willing to accept that person for who they are versus them being gay or trans or lesbian. I want you to be more open-minded that at the end of the day, they're still a human being and they still need that respect and that care just like anybody else. So I haven't ran into that lately. Actually, yeah, I haven't ran into that. So, I mean, it hasn't been an issue, but yeah.
Just finding care, making sure you're looking for caregivers, just to see the person and not see the label.
Exactly. The label is just another layer to that person. You got to know who that person is truly.
That's good advice. As a care, because you've also done care, as you mentioned, you were a care provider. Have you seen examples where small changes in language or approach made a big difference in how an LGBTQ plus client felt safe or respected?
Yeah, I mean, overall, I feel like LGBTQ members, they are very open people. We are very friendly. We like to come off as friends. We don't like to be in a negative space. So with that being said, it's not really formal when it comes down to us. We like to make sure that you feel welcomed and vice versa. And I feel if you are coming off warm and welcoming, it helps out.
Okay, that's good advice. How can agencies like Right at Home show in visible and concrete ways that LGBTQ plus clients and caregivers are welcome and affirmed?
I feel like if we just show more like embolism or symbolizations around, like just a little flag on like the window or like a little flat sticker on our laptops or on the website, just showing that we are affiliated and we do welcome those people into the company, whether you are a client or a caregiver or a nurse, we still greet you in just like your family.
Okay, that's really good advice. And to conclude, is there any stories, without sharing names or private details, that capture why inclusive care for LGBTQ plus people, they don't have to be elders, but care that you've provided matters so much to you?
There was one client or patient when I worked at a drug rehabilitation center. He was younger than me. He was 18. I was about 21, 22 at the time. And he was addicted to heroin. And with that being said, once I got to know him, I realized that, you know, he didn't have any family. He didn't have any friends. He was homeless. You know, he'd been through mental health issues. And, you know, he was just dealt bad cards in life. And talking to him, I realized how easy it is that someone can be dealt hard cards in life and it can affect them in a negative way versus you letting that uplift you and bring you up in life. And, you know, he later on passed away, but, you know, like, it was sad, you know.
Yeah.
That was
if he had just had that consistent positive reinforcement, maybe things would have gone different for this guy.
Yeah, like he tried, but, you know, overall his addiction took over, and yeah.
Okay, well, that's a sobering note, but one that's important to keep in touch with, keep in mind as we work with with people in general. We never know really what's, regardless of who they are, what's going on in their lives, who they are.
I've met some people, like there was one girl from a psych facility. She was about, I want to say 23. I, you know, kind of uplifted her because later on I met her, and I want to say like probably 10 years later, and she was healthy and off the streets, living in an apartment, doing great, going to school. I was like, okay. Like, she came up to me. I was like, who are you?
Well, that shows what a positive impact that she remembered you 10 years later.
Yeah,
you never really know what type of impact you're going to have with people.
Exactly.
Cool. Hey, well, Rashawn, well, thanks for joining us with Ask the Expert series here on our Pride Month edition. If you like what you saw, please like it at the bottom of the video and give us your comments. We always appreciate feedback on this series. And we look forward to speaking with you again and sharing more interesting information around elder care and elder-related issues in the future.